They say the truth shall set you free. But in my experience, the truth is a weapon, and if you handle it right, it's a nuclear bomb. I'm standing in the back of the First Baptist Church. It's 6 a.m. on a Sunday. The service doesn't start for 3 hours. The air smells like furniture polish and old paper. In my hands, I'm holding what looks like a standard issue prayer packet. You know the kind, lyrics to Amazing Grace, announcements for the bake sale. It blends in perfectly with the stack sitting on the welcome desk. But when the congregation opens this specific booklet later this morning, they aren't going to find a hymn. They're going to find a high-resolution photo of their beloved saint of a son making out with his mistress in my living room. My ex-mother-in-law declared war on me. She used God as her shield, so I decided to use her own church as the battlefield. Let's go back to the beginning. My name is Sarah. I'm 46, and for the last year, I've been living in a waking nightmare. Most widows get casseroles and sympathy. I got lawyers and harassment. My husband died last year in a car accident. Tragedy, right? Not exactly. He didn't die coming home to his loving family. He died while running away with his mistress. And get this, she was in the car with him. She died too, leaving behind 2 twin boys, their affair babies. We were mid-divorce when he crashed. The ink wasn't dry. I was the breadwinner. He was the deadbeat. And when the dust settled, I was left raising our 2 teenage daughters, 17 and 15, while dealing with the wreckage of his double life. But the real problem wasn't the dead husband. It was what he left behind, his parents. Let's talk about my in-laws, 78 and 80 years old. To the outside world, they are pillars of the community, devout, pious, the kind of people who judge your soul by the length of your skirt. To me, they are vultures. Since the funeral, they've been trying to do 2 things. 1, get custody of my daughters, which is laughable. 2, move into my house, which is insane. They lost their son, and instead of grieving, they decided to rewrite history. In their version, their son was a martyr, and I was the villain who drove him away. They wanted me to take in the affair babies, the orphans. Now look, it's a tragic situation for those kids. It really is. But my daughters, they are the ones who found the evidence of the cheating. They are the ones in therapy, asking them to live with the living proof of their father's betrayal. It wasn't happening, so the in-laws decided if they couldn't control me, they would destroy me. The Cold War turned hot last week. It was my youngest daughter's 15th birthday. We have this tradition. We go to the weekend farmer's market. It's usually our safe space. I gave her $50, told her to go wild on the chocolate stall, and let her roam free while I looked at produce. I wanted her to feel normal for an hour, just 1 hour. 45 minutes later, my phone rings. It's her. She's not happy. She's hysterical. Through the sobbing, I catch the words, "Mom, they cornered me. Help." My blood went cold. I grabbed my eldest and we ran. We found her near the honey stand. She was backed against a truck, shaking, and surrounding her were 6 women. The church ladies, my ex-Mills flying monkeys, 6 women in their 60s and 70s, encircling a crying 15-year-old girl. They were screaming at her, in public, calling her unchristian, telling her she was going to hell for refusing to visit her grandparents, telling her she was a bad sister for not wanting to raise the affair babies. I saw red. I didn't see 6 elderly women. I saw threats. I handed my purse to my eldest and told her, "Get your sister to the car, now." Then I turned to the firing squad. I know these women. I used to sit in pews with them. I stepped into their circle and I unleashed a year's worth of rage. I didn't scream. I didn't shout. I used that low, scary voice that makes people step back. I told them exactly what kind of people bully a child on her birthday. They didn't back down. One of them, a woman named Brenda, got right in my face. She sneered and said, "You're worse than her. You refused to obey your in-laws like a good Christian wife. You drove him to his grave." Obey. That was the word. The screaming got loud enough that security asked us to leave. We retreated to the car, these women following us like a pack of hyenas, watching us drive away. But that wasn't the end of it. That was just the opening shot. That night, after I finally got the girls to sleep, my phone pinged. It was a guy from the church, one of the few decent ones left. He sent me a screenshot. "I think you need to see this," he wrote. I opened the image. It was a post from my ex-mother-in-law on the church's private Facebook group. It had hundreds of likes, hundreds of comments saying, "Praying for you and God bless you." Reading it, I felt sick. It was a masterpiece of fiction, a sob story worthy of a Hallmark movie. She claimed I had left her and her husband homeless and penniless. Lie. They inherited my ex's personal accounts and life insurance. I didn't touch a dime. My daughters refused to speak to them out of spite. Lie. It's out of trauma. And here was the kicker. The lie that broke me. She addressed the issue of the 2 baby boys, the affair babies. But she didn't call them affair babies. She told the entire church that those children were born via surrogacy. She claimed that I was unable to have more children, so we hired a surrogate. And then, when the babies were born, I rejected them because they were boys. She painted me as a monster, a woman who commissioned children and then threw them away like trash. And the church ate it up. Why? Because this specific church is old school. They are incredibly strict about adultery. Cheating is a one-way ticket to excommunication. My Emiel knew she couldn't admit her perfect son was a cheater, so she turned his sin into my failure. She protected his reputation by destroying mine. She weaponized the truth to save face. I sat there in the dark, staring at the screen. I could have commented. I could have argued. But internet arguments don't work. I needed something tangible. I needed the nuclear option. Here's the thing about being mid-divorce when your spouse dies. You have the files. I had everything. My lawyer had compiled a dossier thick enough to choke a horse. I had the photos of him and the mistress on vacation. I had the text logs. I had the emails. But most importantly, I had the communications from his parents. I had texts from my in-laws acknowledging the affair while he was alive, supporting him, encouraging him to leave me. And I had the smoking gun, an email sent 2 days after the funeral where my Emiel called my daughters bastards and told them their father's death was their fault for snitching on him. I took the day off work. I went to a high-end print shop. I didn't want flimsy photocopies. I wanted presentation quality. I curated the evidence into a narrative. Page 1, the affair, photos, dates, locations. Page 2, the knowledge, texts from mom and dad supporting the sin. Page 3, the abuse, the emails bullying my children. Then I got creative. I bought cardstock and binding materials. I spent 4 hours at my kitchen table crafting the covers. I scanned the front of the church's weekly hymn and prayer booklets. I matched the font. I matched the color. I matched the logo. From the outside, it looked like the packet you grabbed to sing, "Holy, Holy, Holy." Inside, it was the cheating husband and the evil parents, a visual history. I made 50 copies. Sunday morning. I arrived early. The parking lot was empty. The church has a take-one desk at the back of the sanctuary for people who forget their hymnals or visitors who don't know the songs. The ushers usually just stack them up and leave them. They never check them. Why would they? I walked in. My heart was hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. I wasn't scared of getting caught. I was running on pure adrenaline. I scooped up the stack of real booklets and dropped them into my tote bag. I replaced them with my special editions. I arranged them neatly, square, perfect. Then I turned around, walked out the double doors, got in my car, and drove home to make pancakes for my girls. I wasn't there when the service started, but I heard about it. Oh, did I hear about it? According to my contact, it happened about 10 minutes into the service. The pastor asked everyone to turn to the announcements section in the packets. 50 people opened those booklets simultaneously. The silence was broken by a gasp, then a murmur. Then chaos. The first photo was undeniable. My ex and his mistress, faces clear as day. But the text messages, that was what broke the dam. Seeing the pious elderly couple calling their own granddaughters slurs, seeing them admit to covering up adultery, the pastor had to stop the service. He actually had to step down from the pulpit to calm people down because the language people were using to describe my ex and his mistress was, let's just say, not PG-13. My MIL stood up, probably trying to spin it, but the evidence was literally in everyone's hands, printed on high-gloss paper. The fallout was swift. The surrogacy lie fell apart instantly. You can't claim surrogacy when there are photos of the husband engaging in natural conception methods. On page 1, the church turned on my in-laws, not just because of the cheating, but because of the deception. They had played the victim, solicited money and sympathy, and demonized a widow and 2 grieving teenagers. My ex-in-laws were shamed into leaving the church. They haven't been back since. Last week, I checked my MIL's Facebook page. She made one final post, a pity party about how alienated she feels and how no one cares for the elderly anymore. She wished her son was alive to take care of her. I laughed. With what money? I was the breadwinner. I received 2 letters in the mail yesterday, handwritten apologies from the women at the market. They said they were misled. I didn't reply. I don't need their apologies. I just needed them to leave my daughters alone. And now that they know I'm capable of burning their reputation to the ground with a smile on my face, I think we're going to have a very peaceful future. They wanted a holy war. I just gave them a revelation. If you enjoyed seeing karma served cold, hit that like button and tell me in the comments, was I too harsh or did they get exactly what they deserved? See you in the next one.